Isabel.
Here.
Okay. Sit up nicely. So Isabel is here. Samuel.
Here.
Iland.
Here.
Kayesh. Kayesh. No. She's not here. Okay. Suchi.
Here, Professor.
Okay. Daldin. Daldin, are you here? No. Ira.
I'm here.
All right. Angel. Got you. Angel.
I'm here.
Okay. Shomik.
Present, Professor.
Here, Kyle. Kyle. Ken.
Here.
All right. Collins.
Here.
Alex.
Here.
Okay. Janat. Janat. I think you're here. Sorry. Satinder. Satinder. Now, Adam. Adam Ortiz.
I'm right here.
Okay, you're here. Henry. Henry is not here. Alejandro.
I'm here, Professor.
All right, and Tanvir. Tanvir. Benjamin. Benjamin, no. A lot of people are not here today. Ilya. Ilya is absent for 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe he dropped out. I gotta check. Okay. Robert. Robert. I thought I saw you. Robert. Okay. Carlos.
It's okay, Professor.
Okay. Rita.
Here.
Okay, so let me see who's not here. I'm going to check one more time and then start the class. Only the people who's not here. So Kayesh. No. Dialed in. No. Satinder. No. Satinder is not here. How about Henry? How about Tanvir? Tanvir? I think you're here. How about Benjamin?
Yeah, Professor.
Okay, you're here. I see.
Benjamin Sam, right?
Yeah, I got you, Benjamin. Okay, so I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, which means
Professor, did you get my name?
I think I did, yes, but let me check it again. I think I did get you. Yes, I got you. Okay. All right. So, you guys have any question for me?
I came a little bit late. Did you go over anything?
Benjamin, yeah, I think I got you.
I mean,
No, I
did you
didn't
go
cover
over
anything.
anything, like any announcements in the
No,
beginning
no,
of?
not yet. Not yet. Just going to do it now. So the midterm was good. Everybody did well, actually. So if you do the test out, well, then, you're going to get a good job. I mean, good job, not good grade. Good job if you get a certificate, if you really, learn everything and prepare yourself before your interview, then you can guarantee to be, put your foot in the door. Yeah, that is true. Okay, so Kyle, I got you. Okay, so let's see what we're going to do. I'm not sure what we're going to do today. See if I share my screen or no. Schedule. So let's go to schedule. I'm going to share my screen. I'll share the whole screen. Maybe that's too much times. Okay. So schedule. So as usual, you can take a screenshot, but the schedule is already in bright space. So if you forget what to do, you can go back. And if you have not done anything, I mean, some of it, then you can go back and see what you need to do. So last week I said you have to do 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, and 9.7. So if somebody has not done it, you can go back to either take a screenshot or go back to the schedule posted in Brightspace, and then you can take a look at it. If you want to know what we did last week, nothing. Then prior to that, this one, right? Prior to that, this one. So these are the one you're responsible. Some people do more, I mean, because they want to learn more, that's fine. But these are the one that you're responsible for, okay? Some of you are behind. You need to catch up. Otherwise, you'll never be able to catch up. Okay. So today, midterm, that was yesterday, I mean last week, and this is our 10th week, okay? So you don't have many weeks left. Access control list. 10.1, that's it. I mean 12.1, and that's it. That's your homework. 12.1, access control list, just go over that, read about it. I will cover it, whatever is necessary for your final, due on time. But you have to go and try to understand access control lists. These are, advanced level networking. You don't need advanced level networking knowledge, but use in advanced level access control list and all those things. If you started working as a junior network engineer, you'll be doing things basically with VLAN and setting up different devices, gateways, subnet, and all those things that we emphasize more. And access control is what? I mean, it's already there. And some point down the road, after 2 years, your boss will say, we have to, modify the access control list. So you have to know what they're talking about. And you can say, oh, I know what it is. And if you see it, you can be able to pick it up. So that's the idea. So lecture is, let's see, what is that? Operating Cisco router and then supplemental. I don't know what is supplemental there, but we'll be doing operating Cisco router, lecture 9. And there's no quiz. And then you're going to do troubleshoot VLAN. So we'll spend good time on lab 2. So there's no quiz. So at least we'll save some times and maybe we'll take a longer break. Any question? Your paper is due this week. So there's not going to be any more extension. So your paper is due, let's see. If you have not started already, do so. I have extended it 1 week because it was the due date was at the same time you had the midterm. So content, table of content as content, reading, writing assignment. So this is what you see. So November 8th. Huh? November 8th. No. This is Cloudcom. Oh, it's already due. Everybody has submitted? Does anybody need a few more days? Because probably it's gone.
Can you extend it, Professor?
Okay.
Can you extend it?
So how about if I extend what? 2 more days is good?
That's fine, thank you.
Available until November 8th. Okay, this is going to be the last one. Okay. So okay. 15%. Do not ignore this one. You can just write it up. It's not much, 2 pages. Okay. All right. Make sure you all, I don't know how many people have submitted. Let me see. I can tell you how many people did not submit your midterm. No, not midterm. This is the, where is that? Writing. Where is this writing assignment going? Maybe there are 2 of them. Nope. This is the software defined network. Oh, what happened to writing? Average packet tracer, writing, midterm. Okay, writing. So, Isabella, you have not submitted. Keelan didn't submit. Kayesh did not submit. This 0 means I have not graded it. This means that you have not submitted. Angel, Alex, Satinder, Henry. Unless you don't want 15%, it's easy for me not to grade. Ilya, you can have two people writing the same paper, right? So get together with somebody, finish it up. A lot of people did not write. Carlos. Okay, so I give you until 11, right? Finish it up, please. Okay. A lot of people didn't write. This is not good. Everybody should write. 100% should write the writing assignment. This is 15% of your grades. This sports same as the total packet tracer that you have done, maybe 8 lab already, or you'll be doing almost 10. Please don't ignore this one. Okay, so lecture material is going to be on operating Cisco router. This week don't match. I have to fix this week's one. VLAN. VLAN we did. Routing protocol network environment. Oh, maybe this one. Routing protocol network security. So this one, this is also this. Let me see what is actually going on here. Operating Cisco router, router security and command. So network security. So operating Cisco router. So that means we covered this one. VLAN. We're going to cover this one. And the next week we're going to cover this. Okay, I think we're fine. So this is going to be available from November, say 8, 9. And this is going to go on to December 31st. And then update. Okay,
Professor,
yeah.
I forgot to do the lab that was due on the 1st of November. Is there a way I can still do it and fill it in?
Talk to me after the break.
Okay.
Router protocol. No, this is not 26. 25. Okay. December 31st. Okay. So November 9. Date ended is this one. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. Okay, so you should be able to see this one. Routing protocol. Chapter 17. Okay. Okay. Supplemental lecture. I don't think you're gonna do it, but let's open it up. Operating Cisco router. Actually, it should be operating Cisco. Oh, no, it is operating Cisco. Okay. And there are It's 19 lecture. So just give me a second. This one is routing Cisco router chip 17. Let's take it out. And as usual, we're going to practice all commands review and everything. But let me, this is small lecture. Let me go through this. It's not much. We can cover another one. Okay. So, where's the lecture? I just took it out. Okay. So, okay, let's see what it is. What it is. Okay. So there's a lecture. What is this? What did I do? There's a lecture on operating Cisco router. So maybe you already know, but let's see. So installing Cisco router, CLI. Okay, so when we talk about Cisco command line interface and switch command line interface, they're pretty much same. There's some added information for Cisco that you don't need for switches that, you add a Cisco in the router, you add its interface IP address or gateway address or router address. In switch, there is no such a thing. You can only add a gateway address, add an IP address for VLAN 1, right? We did that. So there's certain difference, and let me see how it covers. So this is what typical router looks like, right? You have this LAN, right? You have this LAN, right? IP telephony, they use IP telephony for all the IP telephonies are hooked up to some VLAN. That's usual case. So everything is connected, right? These are all, this is a local area network switch, and switch is connected to a router. And then it has to go, suppose it goes to outside world. So that means it has to go through a lease line, right? But before that, you need to connect a CSU DSU. So CSU stand for Channel Service Unit, and DSU stand for Data Service Unit. Okay. So basically, it has the capability to connect the router to a lease line. Right? That's, it prepares everything. It takes the data and send it through lease line, because lease line just wants just the data, right? With all this information. So that's fully done. And the lease line, it could be T1 line or any other line, right? So CACDC is connected somewhere there, and then lease line is usually, big telephone company, they have lease line that, you basically lease. You said, I want T1 line, or I want, gigabit Ethernet, things like that. Right? And then, of course, that goes to another router, wherever this router is, California or different campus of CUNY. And from there, you have another LAN, right? You have another LAN. So what you have here is that, before it goes to the lease line, you're connected to CSU, DSU, right? Other than that, we covered other things. Right? I don't know if we showed this one, but probably did, but this is a typical 1841 Cisco router, looks like. So if you have not seen it, I haven't seen it since my first job, or second job. That I had more hands-on. I used to work in an integration engineer, and probably first job, second one. For airlines telecommunication company. And they manage all airport, every airport in the world. So that time I used to at least have some sort of experience with router, or I've seen, not that I was working with it much. So if I have not seen it, this is the power, right? This is the power socket. And then you have two fast Ethernet interface, right? Right here, 1 and 1. And then you have console. Remember, console is something you hook up your cable and then you work directly with the router. Right? You can connect through TCP/IP, but this is another way of connecting. And this is an auxiliary one, extra one. So that means these two are fast Ethernet connecting directly, not that you'll be using all the time. But what is important is this console and the auxiliary, right? These are important. And then on the left side, you have additional module interface card. If you need for anything else, there is another module in another interface card that you need to connect for whatever reason, I don't know, but you have another one. Not that it will be used right away. What is important is these, and this one. And that's where you have serial interface with integrated CS. Remember we talked about CSU, DSU? And that's where it is. And that's where you connect and it goes to the T1 line if you have leased T1. So I even don't know many of it, right? But this is probably, it says DSU, so probably you connect somewhere here for DSU. CSU, DSU, or maybe this one, because it's a T1 something, right? So this is what, this is what it looks like. People who are working in a data center or network engineer that is covering the router, they would be more familiar with these things. Not a lot of network engineers even don't touch the router. They do different things. Okay. So same type of thing. This is just for a small network. Right. Because in this case, you're using, it's like a home office. You're using Ethernet. Sometimes they're lumped together and then connected to a cable modem, like at home, and then it goes to ISP. This is for a small setup. That's what we see from home, right? Your switch and then router and CSU, USU, and everything is connected, and cable modem, they're all now connected in one device. And then goes to your ISP, and then ISP lease line from big companies, Verizon, TNT, whatever. Okay. Showing nothing really different here. Okay, let me see if there is anything else here. Command line interface, blah, 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 interface status code. So we'll look into some of it, whatever is important. If it's not too important, we're not going to look at it. Bandwidth clock rate, router, auxiliary. So it has pretty much everything a switch has. So look at this now. What is important is, okay, so show IP interface brief. Remember I showed you the command? And it gives you this information. For each interface, right, with the facettenance of serial, it's going to give you the IP address and then status and all those things, right? So now we're going to go over this, some of it. Okay. So show protocol. You can go and you can say show protocols for FA00 and it give you all those information, right? The line is up, the protocol is up, right? So this is the line status and this is the protocol status. And we're going to talk about it. So it says line is up, protocol is up, and then, but you can find the same thing instead of saying show protocols for FA00. If you just do show IP interfaces brief, then briefly it will give you all of them, right? Briefly it's got all of them. So it's probably better to use IP interface brief for your exam, or if you're asked a question by your interviewer. But you also have this thing. You can specifically say, I want to know about FA00. Then you can say show protocols, FA00 or whatever. Show interfaces, this serial port. And it will give you the information about if there is any IP address is assigned, and then it's going to give you the line protocol, and then status, right? And we'll talk about it. So it gives you, and you can do this, it gives you all this information, right? Clock rate and everything. If you go over everything, it's going to give you all those things. It's probably not important right now, these things. What is important here for your exam and everything is this information. So you have line status and protocol status. So this one, if you type show interfaces brief, you get line status. This is line status. And this one is protocol status. And that's important because you are working and then something is not working. You're not getting connection. And the user is saying that I cannot use it. I cannot go anywhere. Looks like my IP address is not working or whatever. So you type show IP interfaces brief to investigate, and you see the line status and protocol. And that's what this slide is about. So first status code is called line status, first status. And the second one is called protocol status. You got line status, protocol status. You got line, oops, where is this? Line status and protocol status. So it says first status code because that's the one that, it will, the status actually. So what does it say? Line status is refers to the layer 1 status. So, layer 1 is on the bottom of OSI model, right? That is actually hooked up your the devices, your computer, whatever, is hooked up with the cable, if it is a cable, and then it goes somewhere. So because that's a layer 1, right? That's the first layer on the bottom. And if that layer, that status tells you if it is layer 1, that means what? Naturally, you can see that, well, is the cable installed? That means maybe cable. If the line status is bad, then maybe the cable is not installed. Or maybe it's a bad cable. Or you use wrong cable. Instead of straight through, you use straight crossover. Or maybe the cable is installed, but it is not powered on the other side, wherever it's going. And it seems like your probably cable is bad. So it could be one of them. The cable may not be installed. It could be wrong cable, or it could be other side is in a powered on. Right? So that's what line status is. And you see that line status up, administratively down, administratively down, or you can't even have down, right? So what does that mean? Before that, let's look into the protocol status. This is really important. Okay, so you have to really absorb it and understand it, because you may have it in your final, and then in your interview. These are intermediary questions that your manager or senior engineer may ask you. Line status, you see it says down. What does that mean? Or it said administratively down. What does that mean? What does it tell you? And you have to say that, well, if it is down, then maybe the cable is not installed, or the cable is wrong cable, or cable got bad, damaged, or on the other side, it's not powered on. And that's why it's telling me that cable is bad. Protocol status, it refers to the layer 2, right? So layer 2 is little one up, right? So remember, layer 2 controls layer 1, right? It got all the protocol. Layer 2 has all those protocol to control layer 1. So it says it is always down if the line status is down. If the line status is down, for some reason, your cable is not installed or wrong cable, then it cannot really communicate to the layer 1. Hence, it will just show that it's down. So that's why it says it's always down if the line status is down. Make sense? But if the line status is up, right? If the line status is up, that means there is nothing wrong with the first one. Then you have a problem with the protocol. Then the protocol status up down usually caused by mismatched data link layer configuration. So there's a mismatch data link configuration between the sender and receiver. Even you can have the protocol is probably the protocol itself, what is that? It's a software, right? It probably corrupted. So you need to reinstall it. So you have to look at all those things. Is it mismatch, or the protocol itself is bad? So line status refers to the cable itself. And you can think of it, what is it about cable? Well, it's a cable install. Is it damaged? Is it wrong cable? And if on the other side if it is powered on. And protocol status is one layer high batch, you have all those protocol that controls layer one, even other things. So it will always be down if the cable is bad or something. One of them is down. But if this is up, then what? Intuitively you can say, well, maybe the protocol itself is bad. It's the protocol itself, the software got damaged. Or there's a mismatch data link layer configuration between sender and receiver. So administratively down means what? So this is for, look at this status, right? Line status and protocol. So for line, where is that? For line and protocol status, if it is administratively down, down, that means you are the administrator who shut it down. You're the administrator. When they remember, you say shut and no shut. And if you shut, then it's going to be administratively down, right? So it is going to be something like this. So let's take a router. Let's take this one. So CLI. Would you like to? No. No. Okay. Enable config T. Let me see what is so you have, oh, this one only have gigabit 1 and 2. Okay, that's fine. So I go to GI01 and I say shut, right? So G1 is shut, right? If you want to go to this one, oh, I did G1. Okay, fine. So this is port status is, you see that? It's off because I shut it down. So if you do, you have to do it from, I think, which one? Show IP interfaces with. Let's forget that. So if you do IP, yes, IP interfaces brief, and I'm right here. Right here. So if you do show IP interfaces brief, and here there are two, in this router only there are two interfaces. So this one, I shut it down. This is administratively down. This is also administratively down because by default it's administratively down. Remember, router has interfaces, they're always administratively down. So what I'll do is that I'll go back to config T 01 and I should no shut. And then I go there to show IP interfaces brief. And then, so, because I turn it off, so it's going to say line status is up, right? This is up. And protocol is down for some reason. This one, administratively down by default. Right? So anytime you see administratively down, you know that the administrator has shut it down. Okay, so if we go back, to this one, And so administratively down, you know that it's shutdown command. Now, there are three possibilities: down, down, and up, up, right? So if we're both are down, right? Line protocol is down, and line status down, and protocol status down. First one is line status, second one is the protocol status. So both are down, the interface has no shutdown. The interface has a no shutdown command. Of course, because I see that I don't see that it is administratively down. It's just down, down. So that means we have not administratively shut it down. Right? It has no shutdown command. That's why it's showing. That's why it does not show administratively down. But the physical layer has a problem. For example, no cable has been attached to the interface, or with Ethernet, the switch interface on the other side, blah, blah. So remember, if the first one is down, in this one we said somewhere, then the second one has to be down. It is always down if the line status is down. So if the line status is down, then the second one has to be down. If it is down, down, that means you can say that the cable has a problem, mismatch cable, damaged cable, or other side, it's not powered on. And in our case, probably there's a down, down. See this one, no, this administratively down. So I don't have here any, I wish I chose other one. I don't have any down, down, right? I have administratively down. So if both of them are down, then you know that the first one, line protocol is, line status is down. Okay, makes sense? Cable has a problem. If first one is up and the second one is down, that means your cable is fine. Cable is fine. And second one is down. Then what we talked about. We said that there's a problem with the data link layer, right? Or maybe the software is not good. So almost always refers to the data link layer problem, most often configuration problem. For example, serial links have this combination with one router was configured to PPP and the other default to. So, there are different kinds of data link layer, data link protocol. One is using PPP, another one is HDLC. So don't worry about what is PPP, but this is one protocol and this is another protocol, right? The both sides should match and they don't. So if first one is up, there's no cable problem, then obviously it's a data link layer mismatch problem. And if it is up, up, then of course, everything's fine. Right? So that's what you need to look into when you are looking, doing this one. Show IP interfaces brief, then this is administratively down. That means this is down. And don't worry about OK. And this is up. And this is down. That means cable is good. There's a mismatch. Right? Any question? So this is important because it gives you idea of what to do. What is the course of action? Should we change the cable? Should we configure the data link layer to have the same protocol? So it gives you an idea of how to fix it, okay? So this slide is important. 1, 2, 3, this is fine. this one, this one. And then what it says is that, let me see what it says. So interfaces, IP, okay, interfaces F is 0. IP address, config T, interfaces F is 0. Address this is subnet. Okay, we're just adding IP address. We did that, right? Remember we did that in our lab, not the last one, the prior one, right? You go to interface and I add an IP address. In this case, I add an IP address 10.1.1.1 and subnet is this. So that's the IP address of that particular interface, which is this. And because he added this one, now you see 10.1.1.1. Right? And this guy also added an IP address for the serial. So you can have fast Ethernet, you can have serial interface. For serial 001, he added this one, right? We learned how to add IP addresses. You just have to go there, right? It's nothing, nothing complicated. We did one lab. Is that config T interface 01, and then you say IP address 10.0.0.1 255 dot this is this one is this is a class A, right? Okay, so suppose we did that. Suppose. Doesn't matter what IP address. So IP interface is brief. And you see there's an assigned IP address for this one, right? Well, we did this one in our lab. So that's what it's showing. So nothing fancy. So again, you can have status is up, they're both working. Administrative, if it's administratively down, protocol is also down. Administratively down, protocol is down, up, 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 up. You can have, if this is down, of course, this is going to be down, right? If line status, because line status is your cable. Right? But if this is up, I don't know, there's none here. This is up and this is down. That means cable is good, but the protocol is mismatched. Right? Okay. Let me know if you have any question. This talk, this is, it just shows, if you do show running config gives you all information. It gives you you see that question mark? That means there are many lines have been omitted. Oh, it says it. Lines omitted for, brevity. So it gives you clock rate, for this serial port is clock rate. It tells you what is the IP address. It tells you everything about that particular interface, and it will go on. You click enter, 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 and it will go on one after another. Right? So if you cannot figure it out, then you probably have to use this one, but it gives you everything. Okay. So that is important, at least in this lecture. Okay. We don't even use that anymore, right? You going through PSTN, that we used to do that 20, 30 years ago. We don't use that. You know, you go through PSTN and then connect to the local ISP, and then it goes to another one. Okay. Is there anything here? Probably not, but let me see. Would you like to enter basic management? That's the one that we have been doing, right? You turn on a router and it's going to say, would you like to enter a basic management setup? And if you said no, it will just go there. Otherwise, you can set up everything here. IP addresses, anything else has to do with every interfaces, right? Enter host name, right? Password and everything that we usually, everybody, what they do is that they go enter into router, then they do it on your own way instead of only in the beginning. But it will give you the option. If you say no, then it will take you right to the router. But if you say yes, would you like to enter the basic management server, then it's going to give you all those things to actually configure the password, the name, host name, the IP address, and everything. That's what I have been learning. That's what we have been learning bits by bits, right? So just so that you know. Remember, we will do that. We'll do that. Let's say if you open up a router, and if we do that, when I interface, and usually what I do, I say no. For router, it does that. No valid boot image found from default boot drive. Of course, there's nothing saved. It said, would you like to enter the initial configuration? I usually said no. What about if I say yes? And they say, would you like to enter the basic management separate? Yes. Enter the host name. You see that? Host. And then enter enable secret password. You see that? All those things we have been learning, then it's going to say, password and everything. Enter password. I don't know what I did. Okay, so virtual terminal password. See, it's going to ask you everything that we learned, that we have been learning. So usually what you do is that you say no. Right here, would you like to enter basic management? And you said no, then it's going to take you right there. So that you know. That's what it is showing. All right, so you guys have any question? Let me know. Okay, so what happened? So that's what it says, that you can enter everything. Upgrading Cisco IOS software and the Cisco IOS software boot process. I don't think necessary at this point, but let me see. Boot process. So you have internet, it's Cisco Internet FTP, and then it goes to TFTP server, copy TFTP flash. So this is for cisco.com. Basically, it's copying the iOS from the TFTP server. We dealt with this, copy from this to that, right? Copy TFTP to flash drive. Copy TFTP flash command. Copies the iOS image to flash memory. If you want to do that, if you want to copy, it's not important in your exam, but if you want to copy, copies the iOS image. iOS image meaning the software that runs the Cisco router. It is not same as Apple iOS. This is Cisco's own operating system. If you want to copy to the flash memory, then you just say copy TFTP to flash. So in the switches, we learned about different kind of copying. Here you have another one is copy from TFTP. TFTP is the server that sits somewhere else, and then it has all those files sitting there. It's a server, right? File server, let's say. So you can copy it into flash memory. This is, let me see if it is important or not. Loading the Cisco OS ROM to bootstrap, flash, TFTP and ROM to Cisco iOS, NVRAM, TFTP console. No, it's not. It's not explained well. Okay. I don't think there's anything else that we need to know at this moment. Okay. Okay, we don't need to know the last few slides. Okay. So what is important is to understand these things. Few slides about client status and protocol. You guys have any question? Yes, no? If not, this is 10:15. Let me see what's, hold on. I cannot even move these things. Times. Okay, supplemental do I need? What is the supplement? Let me see. Supplemental. Oh, okay. Okay, so I see that. Maybe when I come back, then I'll cover that. And then we do the lab. But before that, what is going on in the next week? Let me see. Network security, router on a stick. Network security, router on a stick, router on a stick into VLAN routing, router on a stick in document. Okay, we'll talk about that. Okay. So there's another small lecture that will help you. It won't take that long, but we'll take a break and come back and do that. Anybody came in late? No? Aish? Dale Satyendra? Henry? Oh,
Sorry.
dialed in, you're here, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Dialed in or dialed in?
DOID.
Dialed in. Okay, so what did I say? Oh, hold on. Hold on. So Kaish is not here. Dialed in, you're here. Dialed in, you're here. Satyendra, are you here? Satyendra? Okay, Satyantra is not here. Ilya, no. Okay. All right, so we'll take a lunch break. When we come back, I'll cover a short lecture, and then we'll do lab. Okay, so let's take a 35, 40 minutes break. Lunch break, so let's do 40 minutes. We don't have much what I'll do. So let's do 40 minutes lunch break. All right, 40 minutes lunch break. We'll be back at 11. Okay. All right. See you guys. I'm going to step aside. All right, I'm back. Anybody has any question? No?
I have a question, Professor. What is
Yeah.
the test out homework?
Huh?
What is the test out homework?
Test out homework. Okay, so I'm going to show it again. Sharing the screen. Okay, so test out homework is this one that I showed in the beginning of the class. Okay, that yesterday we had this. So today is 10. So 11.1. Okay. I'm sorry, 12.1.
Okay, thank you.
Take a screenshot. If not, this schedule is in Brightspace. So in case you forget, it is always in white space. So you just have to look at, week 10.
Okay, thank you.
There's
And
no
it's
quiz
open.
today, Professor.
Huh?
Does that mean there's no quiz today?
There's no quiz. No quiz. So because there's no quiz, I'm going to take 15 minutes covering something. And then we talk about the lab. So lab is troubleshooting VLAN. And then next week, we'll talk about inter-VLAN router and a stick. Okay, so,
Professor.
huh? Yeah.
Sorry, you said that I was gonna ask about if I can still do the lab that was due on the first.
Which lab?
The lab that was due on the first.
What do you mean first?
The first, it was due on the first. Let me look up the name. Okay. Lab 8.
Lab 8. You didn't do lab 8?
Yeah, I forgot to do it. I was busy doing the work for the midterm.
Okay, let me see if I can open it up, okay? Later today.
Okay.
So lab, let me see. Lab 8 is packet tracer creating VLAN, the last one, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me give you a few more days so you can do it. So lab 8. So I'll give you, November 1. Oh, yeah. So I'll give you up to 11, okay?
Thank you.
So 2 more days to finish it. And lab 9 is troubleshooting VLAN. That's what we're gonna do today. And then, okay, so this is going to start today, which is 9, 9, 9, 11, 9. And that would be due on maybe? I don't know, 15, sorry. 15. 11, 9, 11, 9. 11, 15. Okay. Okay. So we'll talk about the lab right after this one. So now look at this one. I created this one so that it's going to help you for your interview or further or future knowledge. It may or may not be in the exam, but the knowledge is required. This is just a supplementary exam. So, okay. So you just have this one. So anytime you need it, preparing for your interview or something, that, you can always review it for any interview. if, they can ask you, what is a data center, right? So, so data center is a facility that centralizes all organization, IT operation, and equipment, right? That is a data center. So in the data center, usually they have bunch of routers, servers, all the software. They sit somewhere in the data center. Long time ago, they used to have it 20, 30 years ago. The data center was nothing but an IT room, and you'll have bunch of router and switches sitting there, and some network engineers are working there. Now, it's not in the same place. Every company has data center that's somewhere else. Even they utilizes Amazon or Microsoft's data center, right? They lease the data center. But they're all in the cloud right now, right? Somewhere else in Virginia or somewhere, right? So basically, it's centralized and holds all the servers and everything. So you have to be able to explain it to the interviewer, right? And you have different types of servers, right? They all also sit in the data center. You have the mail server, web server, application server, right? So mail server, of course, it stores all your mail, whether you're using Microsoft Outlook or I don't know, Google probably has own. But most of the companies, they use Microsoft Exchange because it's integrated with Microsoft 365 and everything. Companies, they prefer Microsoft product in their whether it's Word, Excel, and everything. They don't get it free. They have to subscribe, and they use Microsoft Exchange server. But there are also other email servers. But this email service has to be stored in a cloud-based data center. Right? And you have the web server. Web server is actually, it's holding your HTML files, right? That's where you type Microsoft.com, it goes to some particular web server, and then it loads the HTML file, right? So AWS, Azure, GoDaddy, and all those things have their web servers running somewhere in the cloud. Right? So you should be able to answer those questions. Application server is probably the largest server because it holds all kinds of applications running within an organization. And sometimes an organization has 50, 100, even more applications running. 100 applications running. All the financial companies, they have hundreds of applications, homegrown application, meaning they created their own applications. And they're running in a data center in application server. So they have separate servers just to hold the applications, right? They created an application and they have that server. And sometimes they have multiple servers, right? If you go into Amazon's, servers that holds customer information, it's not one server. Maybe they have 50 or 100 server just dealing with customers' information. So application server is probably the largest one and the most important one. But because sometimes you have to manage those applications, then there's another application, and one of the most popular one is IBM WebSphere and Oracle WebLogic. This application actually manages all those applications because you as an WebLogic administrator, based on your manager's instruction, you can set up rules for all the application, that all the application, whoever goes in needs this kind of authentication. So you don't have to go to each application and then create a separate rule, but you can set up everything from WebLogic or WebSphere. It just manages all of them, so it becomes easier. So you should be able to see it. And there are people who are working as a WebLogic's administrator, WebSphere administrator. They sit down, they manages all of them. Let's say one person got fired and you need to, make sure that he does not have access to any of them. So you go to Oracle WebLogic and then you make sure that his name is blocked right away. Right. So you should have some sort of knowledge, right? Then you have database server. Everybody knows that. That's a large server. This called also daemon, right? And you all know, nothing to explain. It basically holds all the data information, right? And mostly they're relational database. Right? It has a tables and formats and everything. MySQL, Oracle, and all those things. A lot of people works as Oracle server admin. Some people work as Oracle server PLSQL developer. They probably just create tables and search and query and all those things. You have real-time communication server, Skype, right? You do Skype, MS Team. So company is subscribing to MS Team, and then it's serving, let's say, 50,000 employees. It's just not running in your computer, but it's running in your computer, and also have to have a server-side communication server, right? So you should have a Microsoft team and a Skype or whatever, Jabber is probably by Cisco, in your own client machine, meaning your machine, but also a server needs to manage, because you're talking about 30,000 employees or 10,000 employees. And you have administrator just working on this. So you, as a person who is Cisco certified, and you go there and the boss says, I'm going to put you into this one, MS Team. Do you think you're not going to need this knowledge of IP and everything you do? You need all those knowledge to work on those things. So when it is in a large environment, in a company of 5,000, 10,000 more, then it gets big, because you have server-side software, client-side software. FTP software is one of the oldest one, file transfer protocol, that you need to transfer file, right, from one place to another. So you have to have FTP server, right, somewhere. You see that all those servers they're managing, now you need a lot of people to manage all those things, whether you're a network engineer or they usually call admin, right? So all those things that you need to have. You have disaster recovery server. Right? So a disaster recovery server is a server that sits at the end. All those things you are doing, it goes to the servers and data is being stored, but at the end, all those things are being transferred to the data recovery server. They used to have different kinds of recovery server, like tape backup. Somebody at the end of the day use a tape and then copy the server and then take it home, and then next day bring it back, copy it. Sometimes they do it once a week. Some companies used to do once a day. But what happens? They had a real disaster. Then to recover it would take time. So now they have designed disaster recovery server. They can, if something goes wrong, they can pull up the information from the disaster recovery server and then send it to the original server within an hour. They can do that. It will lose some data because maybe last time you backed up maybe an hour ago. It depends on how often you do it, but still you have up and running. And then you have load balancing server. Some of you may know this, right? Load balancing server is distribute the workload, multiple computer resources. So you come into Amazon.com, you're buying something, and at the same time, you have 10,000 people are buying or 20,000 people are buying. How do they handle it? So they have load balancing that they send this 100 people to this computer resources and then another 100 to another server resources so that only one server will not have all the load. As soon as you land in to web server, it goes to the load balance server, and load balance server distribute. You know, it's like you go to that line, you go to that line, you go to that line. Remember when you are in the airport? So you have this thing. This is a real thing, load balance server. And DNS server is basically it converts from name to public IP addresses. So you put Microsoft.com, it goes to a DNS server. DNS server converted to IP address, and IP addresses is the one that is actually goes through routers after routers, right? So DNS server, every company has all those server set up, load balance server, DNS server, disaster recovery server, all those things. Now, they're not necessarily be in your computer. They're usually in your workplace. They may be in the data center, in the cloud, load balance, because your application servers are running, let's say, in Microsoft Azure. So load balance and everything is there, right? Disaster recovery is there. DNS server is usually within your premise because you are going out of your premise. It needs to know first what does that mean of saying micro.com. What is the IP address? It needs to know first, right? DHCP server is, we did not do have a thorough lecture, but DHCP server basically dynamically assign IP addresses to devices, right? So what DHCP does is that it automatically sends network information for clients and see if it has information or if it has the right IP address or not. So let's look at this one. Oh, I cannot write it here, but you have a server. It broadcasts DHCP, this DHCP server broadcast, and then goes to, let's say, this client, and it says, when it broadcast, and he says, yeah, I'm this, my name, he's gonna just tell that my host name is this, and my, I need an IP address or something. So DHCP server unicast it, offer messages, and basically it assigns IP addresses, right? So it's not static IP address, but you see that on the right side, DHCP server assigns IP addresses to each of the new devices. If you turn on, either it sends message to the DHCP server, or DHCP server understand that there's a new client and see if it has an IP address or not. And if not, it will assign. And sometimes it will renew because it's too old, right? So the benefit of DHCP is that you don't have to go to each device and assign an IP address. Because if you have in an office 200, 500 devices, you don't want to go to each device and assign an IP address. That's too much work. So they have DHCP server, and DHCP server takes the IP address from the pool of IP address that you see. It could be private IP address, 192.168, let's say .1.1 to .2.254. And it will take this from the pool and then assign IP address to each of them. So you don't have to do anything. You go to college and you open up your laptop, you're assigned an IP address. So DHCP takes care of that, right? How DHCP takes care is a different thing. It has a sophisticated algorithm that it takes care of everything. As a network engineer, you would see if everything is working or not. I mean, if everybody has a problem, then you could probably think that, well, DHCP server has a problem. So somebody who is knowledgeable in DHCP server is the one that, he will go to the server and try to investigate what the problem is. And that would be part of something that, you don't get training on DHCP server unless your manager puts you in that team and said, you're going to be working with DHCP server and DNS server and all those things, right? So some people are doing that, but what you're learning is the fundamental of all, because all those servers have static IP address. That is required. You cannot assign a DHCP or dynamic IP address to any server. Server's IP address has to be static, unique, right? So this is just the thing. You have a lecture from CompTIA on DHCP, go through that. But these are the fundamental knowledge that you need to do, right? And then VPN, right? You guys connect through VPN a lot of times. I connect through VPN. If I'm working from home, I have to connect through VPN. Otherwise, I'm not going to get access to many applications, right? Because that's the one that creates a secure connection between you and your company's internal server, right? So it's a point-to-point connection that nobody can, even though you're going through data, shared data in a sense, but your connection is point-to-point. And it's called tunneling protocol. Use tunneling protocol to do this thing. Virtual private network uses tunneling protocol, right? All right. So that's what, VPN backbone, right? This is basically one-one connection, point-to-point connection. Even though you're not really connecting one computer to another computer with cable, that's like point to point, but this is logically you're doing it. Logically, it's point to point. So if they ask you a question, you should be able to answer this. Instead of saying, I know VPN, I use it. Instead, you have to say that, uses tunneling protocol over existing network, uses point to point or logical point to point connection. And basically, it creates a secret tunnel, encrypted tunnel that is more secure. Firewall, a lot of people works on firewall, right? And you all know what firewall is. You can have a software firewall, and you can have a hardware firewall. Software is, you all have it. And there's a firewall server. Anything comes into the server, sometimes you see that, oh, here it is, the firewall, you see the brick thing, and it's going to a LAN. It goes to the firewall server, it checks everything, and then if it feels that based on the information that yes, the data can be passed to the client, then it will. But it also depends on how you configure the firewall. Firewall configuration is very important because you really have to know all those rules and regulation and then put the rule in the firewall. Otherwise, it will not be effective, right? And there are a lot of people, they work on firewall, they're firewall engineering. You go and you're basically monitoring everything and you're basically configuring everything. And if anything goes wrong, boom, you have to, I personally I manage a team, and we have some homegrown applications, and some of the application is used by video and audio editors, and these files are big. Some of them are like terabytes of information. And when they transfer the data, then firewall blocks them sometimes. So it's too much. It's maybe some hacker is doing it. So I had to go through their security system and go through the application, because some of the part of the application was built by a third party, work with their security system and see that if there is a possibility that some hacker can get in. And then what they did is that they increased the data from, I don't remember, 200 megabits to terabyte. So now if somebody transfer terabyte, it's not going to give a warning. But if it's more, it will. But before I requested that, these files are really big, I had to have a meeting with the security team, cybersecurity team of our company, and then the security team of the third-party company that supports some of the part. And then, so it took like, a few weeks before they increase it. Firewall people, a part of security team, they take things very seriously. So it's possible that you'll be working with firewall. So usually you don't have, training a firewall, in a school or college or somewhere. What you're learning is you have training on like Microsoft Exchange, things like that, but not firewall, I think. But when you are working on networking, your manager will probably say, go work with the firewall people for the next 3 years. And you go and learn and become expert, then he's going to say, oh, now go learn with some SMS people or Microsoft Exchange. All right. So we talked about private IP address, right? 192.168.172.16 and 10. We talked about it, right? So what they do is that they use, oh, there's a YouTube. Okay, we're going to listen to this. So they use NAT. NAT is a network address translator. Is an NIT, hold on a second. NIT is a process in which a router changes a private IP address into public one, right? So it takes the private IP address, it uses also a MAC address, and then make it a public IP address, right? That's the idea of NAT. When you're sending data from a company, it converts from private to public. When data is coming from outside, then it's convert from public to private IP address. And this one, give me a second. I have to, let me see if I can do this. Sometimes with the,
I'm in Sheikh Radwan, a neighborhood of Gaza City.
so this one is,
But you,
so, I think I have it. Give me a second. So, so where is it? Where is it? Ah. Go. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. So Listen,
This is a service that is used in routers, and its purpose is to translate a set of IP addresses to another set of IP addresses. And the reason for having the NAT service is to help preserve the limited amount of IP version 4 public IP addresses that we have available around the world. When the IP version 4 address was created, engineers didn't realize how big the internet would become, because even though there were over 4 billion IP version 4 addresses available, the engineers thought that that would be enough. But obviously they were wrong. So in order to prevent a shortage of public IP version 4 addresses, engineers developed private IP addresses and network address translation. Now, there are two different types of IP version 4 addresses. There's public and there is private. Public IP addresses are publicly registered on the internet. You have to have a public IP address if you want to go on the internet. And there are approximately 4 billion public IP addresses available, so they are limited. Now, private IP addresses are different. Private IP addresses are not publicly registered, so you cannot directly access the internet with a private IP. Private IP addresses are only used internally, such as inside a home or business. They are not used out on the public internet, and your router is what assigns your internal devices a private IP. So for example, most homes and businesses are not going to have just one device that needs internet access. Chances are that they are going to have multiple devices that need access to the internet. So those devices need a public IP address if they want to access the internet. Now, you could contact your internet service provider and ask them for these additional public IP addresses for all of your devices. But that's going to be more expensive, unnecessary, and more importantly, it would also be a waste of public IP addresses. And let's face it, if every device in the world had their own public IP address, we would have ran out of public IP addresses already. So instead, we can have our router assign the devices inside our home or business private IP addresses. And when our devices need to access the internet, their private IP address will be translated by NAT in the router to the one public IP address that we have been given. So again, this is what NAT does. It translates a set of IP addresses to another set of IP addresses. So not only does it translate private to public, but it also translates public to private. Because if a computer out on the internet wants to communicate with a computer on this private network, then the public IP address needs to be translated by NAT to the private IP address for that computer. Now, in the future, we won't need NAT or private IP addresses. And this is because of the new generation of an IP address called IP version 6. With IP version 6, every single device in the world will have its own public IP address. So there is no need for IP address translation. And this is because IP version 6 is able to produce over 340 undecillion IP addresses. So that's the number 340 with 36 digits after it. So with a number that huge, we will never run out of IP addresses.
okay. So, not this one, where are we? Oh, we're here. Oh, we're at the right place actually. What happened? Where did it go? Oh, did it? Oh, maybe I closed it. Okay. Hold on, maybe I closed that one. Table of content, lecture material. Yeah, I closed that one. So we are here. I don't think there is any more. But so cover private IP. Okay, that's it, right? Okay. So whenever I have interview or something, just go through this. If you, some of you already know pretty well, but if you don't, just go through this. And these are most popular one. They may ask you, do you know about VPN? What is it? You know, do you know about what is that? Firewall. And what is the firewall? And then how does NAT work? In a simple term, they're not going to ask you the complicated question, but in a simple term, what different kind of servers, right? How does it work? What is FTP server or disaster recovery server, mail server? Because if you can answer all those questions and including this basic thing, then job is yours. Any question? No question? Yeah? No? If no question, then what I'll do is that we'll take a short break, like 10-15 minutes break, come back and go through the lab. Okay. All right, so let's take 10 to 15 minutes break. 10 to 15 minutes break. Coffee break. All right. So you guys are here. So I want to cover before the lab, I want to cover few slides. Let me share my screen first. So share and from this one, remember we covered current slide. Okay, you see my screen? Anybody? Anybody can confirm? Yes?
Yes, Professor.
Okay. I thought you cannot hear me, but you can. Okay. All right. So this one, I'm gonna every week I want to cover something. So that will be written. Now I'm preparing for your final, okay? Every time I'm doing something, preparation for the final. Cisco Discovery Protocol. Remember CDP, neighbor, detail. I used a command to find what router is connected to that particular switch. So this one is just a obtain and learn, share information and data about another Cisco equipment directly connected, like router, right? Because we wanted to find out the router address. So this one says that you want to set the CDP timer. So in a switch. So what you want to do, send CDP advertisement every 90 seconds. It's going to send advertisement every 90 seconds and then see who's connected. Right? You don't want to send, every hour, but every 90 seconds, whatever it is. And hold each advertisement in memory for 250 seconds. So hold it even for a longer time, whatever, and then save. So the command is easy, right? CDP timer 90. That means it will send advertisement every 90 seconds. And CDP hold time is 250 seconds. That's it, remember? And you can copy run start always in the enable mode. So that basically sends. We're not going to, so if it is a switch, let's see if it is a switch, and get smaller, and then let me take a switch, and then enable and always when you configure something, you go to config T. So you want to set the timer, CDP timer for 90 seconds. So CDP, I'm in config T, CDP timer 90. I hope that it will take this, but it doesn't. It doesn't understand timer. So maybe this command does not work on this particular switch. Say CDP timer, I'm in config mode, so I'm fine. CDP timer. Does not understand, right? Anyway, so why it doesn't understand? Because it's probably it won't work in this particular CDP. This is a new protocol, right? Cisco Discovery Protocol. It replaces the other protocol. So maybe this particular switch does not understand that. Let me see if it understands another one. Hold time. It doesn't understand hold time either. So I'm not going to check every switch, but just remember that this thing works, right? That CDP timer and then put 90 meaning 90 seconds. Hold time is this, and that's it. And always, whenever it says save, you copy run start. At workplace, if you are happy with it, you think it's fine, then you should always save. Otherwise, not going to load it next time, right? It has to save it in NVRAM. So even though it didn't work in this one, but it will work at in your final exam. This is the one that we covered today, right? So it says that suppose the starter for FA012 when show run and show start are not available. Use the following command first. Show interface FA012 command. You'll find in the first line that it is administratively down, which means no shut is required. Okay, so what do you need to do? Or show IP interface is brief. We did cover that, right? I mean, let's go. Let me see. Which one need to do? Okay, interface is down, right? You remember interface down. That means probably the cable is bad. The device connected to switch is powered on. You are not able to use show start command. Let's see what it says. Use show interface if a command, you'll see that the first line is down, protocol is down, so the power is on. This is basically what it says is that the one that we covered, right? That if you have down, and then up and down and up and up and administratively down. That's what it says, right? I mean, there's no task to do. It's just saying that show interface is brief, and then you can fix those things if needed, right? If you say down, if you see that down, then you probably know the cable is bad. So first thing you want to do, change the cable, but you also make sure that if it is supposed to be crossover, put crossover. If it is supposed to be straight through, put it straight through, right? And then, fix that one, right? But it basically what we did. So I don't think this this probably should not be here. But let me see. I don't think this. But anyway, leave it there. Okay. I mean, these slides are just explanation. Native VLAN. So an access port or untagged port in the non-Cisco world. Okay, which carries traffic for only one VLAN, right? This is an access port. Carries traffic for only one VLAN. All right, so remember we set up VLAN as access port and trunk port. Access port carries only for that VLAN. Trunk port or tagged port in the non-Cisco world is a switch port which carries traffic for multiple VLAN, and that's the reason we have to set up a interface as trunk port, right? It carries a multiple one. Okay, so when frames traverse a trunk port, a VLAN tag is added. Right? VLAN tag is added for all the VLAN, and that's the reason you have to make a connection or interfaces a trunk port. Why? To distinguish which frame belongs to which VLAN, right? Access port do not require a VLAN tag since all incoming outgoing frames belong to a single VLAN. Okay? So we know these things, right? Access port carries a traffic only for one VLAN, and trunk port carries multiple VLAN for multiple carries information for multiple VLANs, and that's why it needs to be tagged, and that's why you need to make the trunk port. You have to configure it as a trunk port, and we practiced that in our last lab. Native VLAN, the VLAN which traverse a trunk port without VLAN tag. So this one is a native VLAN, is VLAN that has no tag. Everything else, right? Everything else, you have not tagged them with anything. You have not configured them with anything, is VLAN, right? It's a default one, right? So these are the thing, it's just few information. 15 says that change the native VLAN from default to VLAN 10. So 10, so always saying, I have some command here, show VLAN brief, show interface is strong. Right? These two are important. So G1, G0, Z0. This is switch C, Z0. Okay, from this one. Motron, VLAN 10. So all you're saying that native VLAN, so VLAN 10, switch port trunk, native VLAN 10. So what this one does is that it changes from VLAN 10 to native VLAN. So in switch C, all you're doing is going to interfaces 1 and 2, G0, 1 and 2. So this is 0, 0, 1 and 2. This is G0, 1. and this is Z02. For this one, basically you're removing the tag and making it part of VLAN. In order to do that, you just say switch port trunk native VLAN 10. Make VLAN 10 native. So it's going to be part of native. That's all. Okay. So if I want to do it, then I have to set up this 3, and then I have to make VLAN, and then I have to VLAN 10, and then I have to remove it. So it's going to be quite a lot of work. I'm not going to do that, but you understand that anytime you want to change the native VLAN from default anything, okay, that this is what you need to do. Okay. We'll do more about that one when you practice. This one is this one is important. Maybe I have to set it up otherwise. This one is important because you have something at the final from this one. Remove. You know what? I'll leave it here. I'm going to do this one in the next class because it's better to set it up and then do this one. Okay. So I think this is better. I'm going to leave it at 16. If I don't create this one and I just tell you do this, then it's not fair. Okay. So I'll leave it like this, maybe 15. I'll stop at 15. So next week I'll cover at least 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do that next week. Okay, this is easy, but at least 4 of them. Okay, so, and then create trunk port, that's easy. Router and stick, we can go, okay. So to go to 23 in 2 days. Okay, I think we're fine. I'm going to leave it here. All right, I'll set it up and then maybe in a different time and then I'll show you. But it's all about moving from particular VLAN to default, default to VLAN. Okay, let's go to the lab. Okay. What happened? Why it's not moving? Hit this thing. Okay. Oh. Okay, so your lab. Today's lab is, I don't know which lab I set it up. 8, no, 9, 8. Packet tracer, oh, troubleshooting. Okay. So 9 is your lab. It's due November 15 by Saturday. Okay. So this is a lab. I think this lab is easier. So we're still doing VLAN, right? So the VLAN has 2 attachments. One is the, which one is what? I'm gonna do both. So this one is the document, right? This is the one you need to do based on given information. And the given information is you need to submit both. This is the packet tracer file. Okay. So this is already provided by whoever created this one. I don't know. So this one has one VLAN 20. You see that? VLAN 30, VLAN 30, VLAN 20, and VLAN 60. And they're using the layer 3 switch. You see that? This switch, in Cisco world, it has all arrows all over, in all directions. It's a like this one, 3560 or 3650. This is 3560. This is the layer 3 switch. That means it has a capability of carrying VLAN tag. If you have set up this interfaces as trunk port, then it should be able to do that. And then whoever created this one, the network ID is 10.10.0.024. Looks like a lot of bits were borrowed. And this is the default gateway 10.10.255 to 54. Okay. So VLAN 20, look at this. The IP address 10.10.0.1, that looks fine. And IP address is 10.10.255 to 54, that also looks fine. Meaning I just checked this one. And this one also, IP address is fine, gateway address is fine. But this is what I usually check. And this one should be 0.3, it is. Gateway looks fine. This also looks 190. Okay, hold on. So look at this. 10.10.03, that should be 10.10.04, right? That should be 10.10.04 because the network address is 10.10. That should be 10.10.04, not 192.1.1.4.24. And the gateway address is also wrong. No, gateway address is fine. 10.10.255 to 54. You guys are with me, right? I'm just checking before even reading the question. So the third one has a problem, right? This one is problematic. The IP address is wrong. So you can check all of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be 5. It is 5. The gateway is 6. Gateway address is fine. This is also 7. Gateway address fine. This is 8. Gateway address fine. So the only problem is this guy has IP address wrong. Now I investigate the switch. And there should be 20, 30, 30, 20, 60. So 20, 30, 60. So look at this. First two interfaces says 20. Second, 1 and 2. So you got a problem here. See, 0.1 interface has VLAN 20. 0.2 interface has VLAN 60. This one says 60. This is actually part of 20. So I see a problem there already. Okay, how about interface 3? It says 30. 4 also says 30. Well, there should be the 30 and they are 30. Okay, cells, they're 30. So I found a problem here. I'll investigate this one. So first one says 30, and it is 30. Second one should be 30, but second one says 300. So you got another problem right here. This one should be 20. That means 1, 2, 3, right? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So this 3 is 20, and it says 20. And this one is 4, right? 1, 2, not the IP address like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but 4 interface number within this switch. So 4 should be, no, 4 says 20, and it says it should be 60. So you see that I got a lot of problem. I even forgot. What is given you here in your design schematic, it's true. This is how it should be. But when you're inspecting, you see some problem. I go there and we go to config. This is probably 0, 1. This is on. That looks good. This looks good. Okay, so 0 gigabit 0, 1 is up, and this should be also 0, 1 or 0, 2. 0, 1 is up. Okay, so I see a lot of problem. So all you have to do is that now read through this document, right? Estimate time 60 minutes, blah, blah, blah. This is given. And then you got 10 points right here. What are the 2 possible mode you can configure a port switch, right? You guys should know. What are the possible 2 mode? Access port and trunk port, right? What are the commands you would use to add a port to a VLAN? You guys did that in your last lab, right? You go to that interface and you add that, right? For example, FS02. So you have to verbalize it, write it down. Not verbalize it, but write it. So if you go to in your last lab, it's just adding a port to a VLAN. Remember, you create a VLAN, VLAN 2, VLAN 3, then you go to the interface and you go switch port mode access. That's how you do it, right? What command would help you to find out what encapsulation protocol is using a trunk? What command would help you find out what encapsulation protocol is used a trunk? Okay, so it has to be the trunk port. To show IP interfaces trunk will do that, right? So if you have this one, hold on. So I want to go to this one and then show IP interface, trunk. Show IP interfaces trunk. What did I do? Show IP interfaces trunk. Oh no, show interfaces trunk. Oh, it's not IP. Show interfaces trunk. Show IP, no, show interfaces trunk. Okay. So it says what encapsulation is done. So if I use this command, you know 802.1q, that's the encapsulation. So that tells me, right? So this one talks about trunk. It tells me that 01 is using 802.1q protocol. It also saying that it's carrying all VLAN, native VLAN. It also saying that it's carrying 1, 20, 30, and 60. So 20, 30, and 60, that's what it's supposed to carry because you have 20, 30, and 60, right? 20, 30, and 60, yeah. So it's carrying that, right? Spanning tree, don't worry about it now. So look at this, I mean, the trunk port is fine, it looks fine actually. This one, this is the second one. Show interfaces trunk is 130, 300. You see, you don't need 300 here. So you need 130, 60, you need 20. So you have to remove 300 and add 20, right? So second switch has a problem. It has 300, you know. There's no such a 300 here. So that needs to be fixed. And you don't worry about this one. So you got to do a lot of work, but let me see. What else? So what commands would you use to remove a VLAN? Okay. What commands would you use to remove a VLAN from the allowed VLAN in trunk? For example, has a trunk line and you want to remove this one. Remember that one, you have to remove 300. So what command would you use to remove a VLAN? So if we do that, let me see. Remove a VLAN. So to remove a VLAN is, so in this one, I said that I'll go in the next class, I'll talk about it, but just for now, because you have a question there. So just look into this one. Okay, so in this one, 01 and 02 of switch C, right? That's what it is, switch C. Remove only VLAN 20 from allowable VLAN. So in order to do that, what you have to do is that go to that particular interface and you go switch port, trunk, allowed, VLAN, remove 20. So switch port trunk, whatever the allowed VLAN is, remove 20. So it will remove 20. If you want to, it's a remove, but if you just want to allow, right? Then you have to do switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10. See, it's similar to the other one up to here. Allowed VLAN, and you're saying then 10 is going to allow, and here if you want to remove, it's going to remove it. Okay, so to allow VLAN 10 from switch this, and this one is to add VLAN 40 in switch. You want to add. This is allowing it, and this is add. So there is a difference between these two. Allowed VLAN, add 40. So here is the problem, I think. If you write this one, allowed VLAN 10, then everything else will be gone. So that's the problem about this one. You are saying that it's almost like only allowed VLAN 10. We're going to test it. But if you do allowed VLAN add 40, then whatever the existing one, then I can add this one. So I'm going to test this one because for this one, before I go to that thing, I see the problem is that I have 300. I have to remove This one. I have to remove 300. So I hope you guys are with me. So config T interface 0, 1, right? This is the one right here. This is 0, 1 of this switch. I'm here and I'm saying, I'm going to paste it. Switch port trunk allowed, I mean this one, allowed VLAN remove 300. Because there is no 300 there. There is no 300. And it says 300. So I want to remove it. So I say remove 300. Now, if I go to the enable mode, and if I do show interface trunk, let me see, is you see that 300 is gone, right? 300 is gone. So how to remove it? That's what it is. That's what I'm showing you, that if you don't know, it's in slide 16. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN, then you just type remove whatever it is. I removed it. Now what I want to do is that I want to add. So I want to add same thing, allowed VLAN, then add 40. It's going to add this particular one in addition to whatever the existing. Now I see that, you see 1, 30, and 60 is there, but 20 is not there. 20 is not there. So what I have to do is that I have to go to config T and interfaces GI 01, and I have to add this one. Add what is not added here? 30, 60, 20 is not added, right? VLAN 20 is not added. So I want to add 20. So in that case, 20. Now, if I go to show interfaces trunk, and you see that 20 is added, right? Now it looks good. At least they're added. I removed one, I added one. So I removed by using this command because it removed, and I added by using this command. If you do this one, it will just allow 10 and everything else is be gone. It's not going to allow. So make sure that you understand between this one allowed and this one add, right? So this is going to remove all others. So you don't want to do that, right? So what, not this one, not this one. Okay. So, okay. So what command would you use to remove VLAN? I just did it, right? VLAN from the allowed VLAN in trunk link. For example, if it is a trunk link and you want to remove VLAN 333, what do you do? So you just write, you know, as an example, just write the command and that's it, one line. That is your 10 points. Now you have to do this 5. And then reflection is another. Reflection is usually give away 15 points, but you have to answer. What is important is this one is about 70%, 75%. Can you ping from HR1 to HR2? You guys are with me? Everyone?
Yes.
Yes, good, good, good.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Okay. Give me a minute. I have to warm up my coffee. Okay, the question is that, number one, if you say that, can you ping from HR1 to HR2? So let's do it. This one, HR2 is what? 10.10.02. Let's see. I'm sure you can. Looks like you can. Desktop command prompt ping 10.10.02. Okay. You should. 10.10.02. Why it's not doing it? Oh God, that I thought you can. Did I type it wrong? 100% lost. 10.10.01, 10.10.02, 10.10.255, 254. Gateway address is 10.10.254. I don't see any problem. I don't see any problem. Why we cannot ping? Not good. Let me do it again. Ping 10.10.02. It should ping. I don't see any problem. Anybody is having the same problem? %, loss. That is not good. It just comes here, goes there. They're both in VLAN 20. Let me see if they are. Oh. This is 20. This is 60. You see that? So interface 2 is part of VLAN 20. It's not part of VLAN 60. It's not 20. So you cannot really ping. They're not with the same VLAN. So you have to say that for this one, you have to say, no, you cannot. You cannot. Yeah, make it red. It's easy to follow when you write. Fix and report the following. So you have to say, what is the problem? What was the problem and how you fix it, right? How you fix it. So what is the problem? Problem is that interface 60, interface 2 should be part of, this one should be part of VLAN 20, not 60. So remember, if you go and look at the, if you look at this one, no. So what do you do? So you go to this one and enable config T and interface FA02. And then what? Switch port mode access VLAN. Switch port mode access VLAN 2, right? Is that the comment? Hmm? Anyone? You guys just did it in your last switch port. I want to make it part of VLAN 2. What was the command? I forgot. Anybody remembers? Let me see if it is here. I don't think it's here. What is that, guys? Do you remember? Anyone? No? Switch port mode trunk. VLAN. VLAN. Okay, so no, not this one. Switch port access VLAN. That is part of what? That should be part of 20, right? It's a 60, 20. Switch port access VLAN. See, even I forgot. Switch port access. So what I did is that I said make it switch port access. So this one now is VLAN 20. Now if I go, I can check it many different way. I can do show VLAN brief. And then 1 and 2 part of 20. Right? See that? I do show VLAN brief 1 and 2 part of 20. You can also, this is the right way because you have to use command line interface. But if you now look at this one, it is going to say part of 20, 1 and 2. So now that if you ping, it will go. It will do that. Got it? So what was the problem? Problem was that it has a wrong VLAN ID that was 60. You change it to VLAN 20. You can also say how you did that is by typing this switch port access VLAN 20. Yeah? Anybody has question? I solved this one. Yeah? Can you ping cells 1 to cells 2? I'm going to do maybe one and then we have to do the rest. Figure it out. Can you ping from cells 1 to cells 2? So this is cells, what is cells? This is cells, oh no, this is cells 1 and this is cells 2, right? Both are within 30 and this one belongs to the switch, so that's interface 3 and 4. So I do 3 is showing VLAN 30 and VLAN 40, but I remember, I mean, they are fine in terms of only things that the IP address is wrong, right? This IP address is wrong. So all you have to do is that change this IP address. That's easy one. Okay, so I'll leave it for you. Second question, IP address is wrong, and you can do this one. Okay, this one is easy. Number 2. Number 3 is can you ping from cells 1 to cells 3 and 4? So can you do from cells 1? This is cells 1 to cells 3, which is this one. They both belong to VLAN 30 and this one. Can you do that? And I changed something, but I deleted 300, I added 20. So this one is, I think this one is showing fine, this one is showing fine. I don't know if you can, it should be. 1010 101003, and this is that the one I fixed? I don't remember which one I fixed. This is 5, this is 6. So ping 5. So I want to ping from 3. No, I don't know. So cells 1 to cells 5. So config now desktop command. Okay. Ping 10.10.05. I think that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you are able to ping. I don't know which one I just changed. Okay. If you're able to do it, it's fine. If not, fix it, right? But remember, I removed 300 and I added number 6. Looks like I cannot. I don't know why. This is number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I am able to ping 30, I should be able to ping this one. I don't see any problem. So 100% loss. Okay, so I'm able to ping this one. They're in the same VLAN, but I'm not able to 10.10.06, 10.10. I don't know why it's looks fine to me. It looks fine. They're both cells. Let me see. Look at this one. 5. Oh. Oh. So you got I didn't fix this one, I guess. So you have 300, right? Number 2, you see 300. So I was able to ping 01, but I'm not able to ping 02 because 02 shows 300. So you have to remove 300 and add 60. 20, 30, 60. Yeah. Did I just do that? Maybe I didn't do it right. So you have to add 300. Enable, no. Show interfaces trunk. So 20, oh. So what I did is that in the trunk port, I removed 300 and I added 60. However, in the interfaces, I have to add, for number 2, I have to add 30. The same thing I did for this one. You guys understood? So you have to use this command to add, remember from your last lab? Switch port access VLAN 25. Switch port access VLAN. So you have to go to the set this one, and that should be part of 30. Right? Config T, interfaces FA02, and switch port access VLAN, that should be VLAN. This one is the problematic, it should be 30. It was showing 300 or something. So that solves it. This is going to be 300 soon. See, it's already showing 30. So that means you should be able to ping now, as soon as this is green. As soon as this is green, you should be able to ping. That is 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not green yet. It's not green yet. Okay, you see that? Now it's pinging. So not only I remove and did some work in the port level, trunk port level, I also have to do it the same thing in the access port level. So the third one is 20, fourth one is also 20. So this is 20, that's fine. This shows 60, so you have to do that for 60. You do everything, you submit this one, and you submit the document. You take it one by one. Anytime you are, make sure that if you have 20, 30, and 60, make sure that both this one and this one allows those VLAN. And I give you the command of how to allow those VLAN, right? This one, right? Add. So you have to add those one. You have to remove the one that you don't need, and you have to add that one in a trunk level. This is in the trunk level. But you also have to do similar thing in the access level for the interfaces, and that was the problem. Right now, I still have a problem with this one. This should be 60, but it still shows, you see that number 4 is 20. So you have to do switch port access VLAN 20 for that interfaces. These are the very intermediate level questions. I mean, you're going from beginners to intermediate. And if you can solve these things nicely, then if your boss asks you in the interview, your job is 100% guaranteed, because these are intermediate level. You got some problem, you're fixing it. Right? So I'm not going to do the last couple of them, but I told you what to do. So So you do the same thing and the 4 and, I give you, and then your reflection is whatever you do, doesn't matter. Okay. Anybody has any question? Because I have to leave a little bit early. So anybody has any question? No? I have to leave a little bit early, so if you have a question, let me know now. If not, I'm going to actually log off early. Do your homework, the lab, submit it by Saturday 9. If you want to submit it today, anytime, I'll look at it. If you have any question, let me know. I can take a look at it.
Professor, you said you were going to extend 2 of the labs, right?
Which one? What is that?
I believe earlier you had said you were going to extend one of the labs. Which one was
Which
it?
lab? Tell me which lab.
I'm not too sure. I just remember someone saying that.
Let me know which lab.
It was lab A.
Lab 8 I did. But anybody wants, this is, you're going to lose some point because of the late submission. But any other lab, if you have not done, you let me know. I'll give some extension. Okay. You can email me, check yours and then email me. Okay. Kilan? Yeah. I did 8. I extended 8, but anybody else that needs some extension on the other lab, let me look. Kilan, you probably need, right? You need all of them or what? Okay, anybody else
Thank
has
you,
any other
Professor.
question?
Have a good weekend, Professor.
Thanks, Professor. Have a good Sunday.
Good? Okay. So thank you, everyone. Anybody has any question, let me know, email me. But this lab is really important to really understand VLAN, just do it, okay? Any question, let me know. So I'm going to log off and thank you, everyone.
All right. Have a good week.
Yeah, okay.
Professor, I wanted to ask you something.
Yeah, ask me fast, I have to go.
I was wondering, if you could kindly close off the recording. I just wanted to ask you something quick.
Uh, yeah,